Our duty as soldiers is to protect humanity, whatever the cost. A powerful quote, as eternal and meaningful as the hero who said it. Sacrifice. To place others' lives well above our own, even in some cases losing our own life. At the end of Halo Wars, we witnessed the Spirit of Fire gamble their entire crew to ensure the safety and continuation of their species. Facing overwhelming odds, the UNSC Spirit of Fire sacrificed their way home, and even some, like the beloved Sergeant John Forge, sacrificed their own life to give humanity the torch of ascendancy, of survival. We last saw the Spirit of Fire halt a Covenant plot that would have almost certainly won them the war against humanity. Having succeeded in that mission, it also left the UNSC ship drifting off into space, with no certainty of survival or finding their way home. Hello, my name is Calvin Santoscoy, and thank you for joining Let's Finish the Fight as we discuss the story of Halo Wars 2, what we know, and what might be. As I mentioned at the beginning of this video, Halo Wars left us with the crew of the UNSC Spirit of Fire, floating adrift in cryosleep, dreaming of finding home, unaware of what might find them. From the 2016 E3 reveal for Halo Wars 2, we were introduced to the overall new feel and atmosphere for the game, as well as the new Splinter Covenant faction, the Banished. The Banished are a portion of the Covenant that broke free well before the Great Schism of Halo 2, and in fact engaged in aggressive opposition and combat with the Covenant. The reasons behind the secession are unclear as of right now. This brute-enforced legion is led by a pretty bamf brute chieftain named Atriox. With his ghostly war paint and predilection for donning scavenged UNSC gear, he definitely makes for a memorable and terrifying villain. As of now, for the overall story, we know that Spirit of Fire awakens to discover the Ark. Yes, Haloers, I'd say it's safe to say it's the same Ark from Halo 3. Be kinda confusing if it wasn't. The crew travels down onto the installation to investigate its purpose, and ultimately find their way home. Incidentally, they also encounter the new baddies, the Banished. Now, Halo Wars 2 is highly fascinating for many reasons, but I would like to focus on one point in particular, the chronological placement. Even though the first Halo Wars was released 8 years ago, Halo Wars 2 is actually set 28 years later, directly after Halo 5 Guardians. Yeah. Even in Spartan years, that's a pretty big time gap. Now, the decisions to have it like this may be a marketing strategy just as much as franchise progression. There have been several games and stories in between Halo Wars and now, so it would make sense to want to place Halo Wars 2's story in the present timeline. It allows for maintaining purity of the story. If Halo Wars 2 took place any time before 343 Industries' latest release, Halo 5 Guardians, people might not be as excited for it. Not to say it wouldn't do good or be bad, but it would most definitely sacrifice a certain amount of excitement. Like, Halo Reach. Halo Reach was an amazing game, but we knew its ending. We knew the conclusion it was approaching. Bungie even wrote on the notion that everyone knew how it was going to end. So, it was fun. It was amazing to see unfold, but can you imagine the impact it would have made had we not known? So 343 Industries may be purposefully placing the Halo Wars 2 story at the freshest point of the franchise canon to ensure the highest level of hype and excitement. What's going to happen? Will the crew make it? What are the Banished after? Is there something else lurking on the Ark? These questions really wouldn't be seriously pondered by fans had Halo Wars 2 taken place during events that had already transpired. It's also interesting to wonder if 343 Industries are also getting the plot on the Ark to kinda tease or set up a Halo 3 anniversary. Another little piece of the possible story, in the last frames of a Halo escalation issue, we see a Flood spore aboard the Spirit of Fire. Now, it's very possible the Flood could return, considering this takes place right after Halo 5. It's also a good chance that Prometheans may appear, and I love that idea. Wouldn't it be amazing if you could control your own Forerunner army? Man, this is purely speculation, of course, but it's something to dream about, and was actually on my mind since the 2015 Halo Wars 2 reveal. Heck, I always wanted those things in Halo Wars. The first one. 343 Industries has also stated that Halo Wars 2 will connect with the rest of the timeline, so it's highly likely whatever happens in Halo Wars 2 will directly lead into Halo 6. With the Banished as the new enemy, along with Cortana and a possible Flood return, it does make for a rather interesting story to digest. Along with the new faction, we also have old favorites. Captain James Cutter and Professor Anders will return. It is unsure if Serena is present, and highly unlikely considering AI lifespan. However, it's possible that Serena has already sided with Cortana if her hibernation was able to stall her rampancy, but it's highly unlikely. 28 years is just too long a duration for an AI. Well, Spartans, that's really all we know about the Halo Wars 2 story right now. We shall remain diligent and continue to bring you all the Halo goodness. Please give a like, subscribe, and comment any questions or any subjects you'd like to see covered. Keep the coffee hot, and remember to finish the fight.